The gunman of the Walmart shooting returned to court today to continue listening to survivors and family members of those who lost their lives on August 3rd, 2019. On Monday, he pleaded guilty in court and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. On the first day of impact statements, 12 people addressed and faced Crusius and the court to talk about that shooting and how it impacted their lives. And today, the impact statements continued in the courthouse. Just to let you know, the court has asked that the cameras not show the faces of those reading their statements, so we will only be sharing their voices.
We bring you complete team coverage on today's concluding impact statements made in court by survivors and the family members of victims who addressed Patrick Crusius directly and in person.
Yeah, and as you're seeing, our ABC-7 crews are joining us live from the El Paso County Courthouse to give us those live updates on the last day at the court.
And we'll start off with Rishi Oza. Rishi, we're going to start with you. What can you tell us about the family who hugged the shooter, Patrick Crusius?
Yeah, Paul, Marcel, we are inside the courtroom where those impact statements took place. Yolanda Tinajero was one of those who chose a path of forgiveness when it came to confronting the shooter who killed her brother, Arturo Benavides. At the end of her impact statement, Judge Sam Medrano allowed her to hug Crusius. She said that the hug allowed her to express her forgiveness towards him, but also allowed him to feel her loss. Yolanda's daughter, Melissa, spoke after the hug, saying losing her uncle was by far the hardest thing their family has had to accept. She said Arturo was a gentle man, and as his eldest niece, she got the chance to receive his love the longest. She wanted the death penalty for Crusius, but ultimately chose forgiveness with her mother.
I would like to ask you for permission on behalf of me and my children to give Patrick a hug.
Ma'am, would that help you and your family seek comfort, peace, and healing?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, we'll have more reactions from inside the courtroom coming up on ABC-7 at 6, including more sound from Melissa Tinajero on losing her uncle. Front reporting live from inside the El Paso County Courthouse, Rishi Oza, ABC-7.
Thank you so much, Rishi, for that report. And a surviving victim of the mass shooting hopes to spread a positive message despite that physical and emotional damage she's faced. ABC-7's Paul Schultz joins us live with her powerful message.
That's right, Marcel. We got to speak to Michelle Grady earlier today. She says she sustained multiple injuries in the Walmart shooting, but that didn't stop her from sharing today what she calls a message of love. Now, Grady added and said that she remembered the day of the shooting being very chaotic. She added that it felt like everything happened so quickly and experienced a bunch of different emotions. She sustained several injuries, including a broken joint in her hand, partially shattered pelvis, and a deep wound on her thigh. But she does say she's thankful to God, her family, friends, and the El Paso community for standing by her through the whole thing.
There are so many feelings. Of course, we've been waiting for years, and there's been a lot of nonsense happening to delay this process. But there is a small sigh of relief that I got to speak, and I got to send a message of love out. And that's what I'm all about, is trying to combat all the hate and the racism that's out there and kind of shine a light for the love and acceptance that we all need.
And coming up on ABC-7 at 6, we'll hear from the family of the youngest victim in the Walmart mass shooting and how they are working to keep their families, or their son and sister, rather's legacy alive. For now, reporting live inside the El Paso County Courthouse, Paul Schultz, ABC-7.
Thank you very much, Paul. A wide range of emotions were expressed today as over 20 people addressed the Walmart shooter. ABC-7's Heriberto Perez joins us live inside the courtroom with more on the story. And Heriberto, you witnessed an act by a family member that was completely unexpected.
Good afternoon, Paul. That's right. We are here inside of Judge Sam Medrano's district court, where just a couple of, or less than an hour ago, the second day of impact statements ended. And that very event that you're talking about, Paul, is that earlier this morning we reported that one of the victim family members forgave Patrick Cruces and gave him a hug. And later in the day, another one also did the same thing. Take a look at this video. This is the moment where El Paso County Sheriff Oscar Ugarte is escorting Patrick Cruces out of this very district court. And after that, you will see some images, which are the ones that we're talking about. This at the very end of the impact statements, where Adriana Sandri, the widow of Ivan Filiberto Manzano, came back to the court after she gave her impact statement yesterday. And earlier today, as Rishi reported, the sister of Arturo Benavides, Yolanda Tinajero, also asked Judge Medrano for permission to hug Cruces. And this is what Manzano's widow, Adriana Sandri, asked Judge Medrano, and what Judge Medrano told her.
Your Honor, I would like to ask you for permission on behalf of me and my children to give Patrick a hug.
Ma'am, would that help you and your family seek comfort, peace, and healing?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And Paul Marcel, after that moment when Sandri asked Judge Medrano to hug Patrick Cruces, Cruces nodded right behind me. He hugged her, and after that, it was a very quick moment compared to what we saw earlier today with Tinajero. Of course, we will have more reactions on what happened on the second day of the impact statements. That's coming up tonight on ABC-7 at 6. Reporting live inside the El Paso County Courthouse, Heriberto Perez, ABC-7.
Thank you, Heriberto.